Hi, my name is Diego and I'm from CipherCore, the makers of LoginTC. In this video, we will show you how to deploy and configure LoginTC Managed, a fully on-premises multi-factor authentication solution. This virtual appliance acts as a hub for anywhere you want to add LoginTC multi-factor authentication to, including remote access, Windows Logon, web access managers, SSH, and more. I recommend to follow along this video with our online documentation. Please see the video description for a list of relevant links. First step is to install and configure the LoginTC Managed virtual appliance in your virtualization infrastructure. Virtual appliance images are available in OVF/OVA and VHD formats for both VMware, ESXi, and Hyper-V. To obtain a copy of the image, please reach out to us via our online contact form. LoginTC Managed can also be deployed in AWS and Azure using their respective marketplaces. Log into your VMware ESXi console. Right-click and click Deploy an OVF template. Under Select an OVF template, select Local File and then choose Files. Navigate to the location of the LoginTC Managed OVA file, select it, and click Open. Click Next. Enter a name for the appliance and click Next. Select a relevant compute resource and click Next. Review the details and click Next. Select a relevant storage and click Next. Select a relevant network and click Next. Now that you've completed the Deploy an OVF template wizard, click Finish. To view the newly deployed appliance, select the instance and open up the console. The LoginTC Managed virtual appliance is ready for configuration. Now configure the network settings of your newly deployed LoginTC Managed virtual appliance. All configurations after this point will be based on the web-based administrative interface. Log into the console using the LoginTC user with the default password managed, one word, all lowercase. Once logged in, type setup and hit enter. Hit enter and pick a new password for the LoginTC-user. This password will be used when logging into the virtual appliance's web-based interface. Next, set up the network configuration. It is important to pick a static IP address so that DHCP does not impact functionality. Next, configure the DNS. You can select an external or internal DNS server. Now that the network is configured, the web server will automatically turn on and the appliance will now be managed via the web-based interface. Open a new tab in your browser and navigate to the URL indicated next to Administration Panel URL. Remember to include HTTPS and port 8443 when composing the URL. Enter the same password you configured to log in. The first prompt will ask for a LoginTC Managed license. If you do not already have a license, click on No, how can I get a LoginTC Managed license? Here, you will be displayed an appliance ID. LoginTC Managed licenses are specific to each virtual appliance. Send this appliance ID to sales@ciphercore.com or complete the form after clicking the URL. Once you have a license file, simply click Back and then Yes, import a LoginTC Managed license. Click Import, select the file, and click Import. Confirm the license information and then click Continue to LoginTC Managed. Now configure the appliance to be prepared for use with any LoginTC connector. In the left-hand menu under Appliance, click Settings. By default, an NTP server is not configured. Under NTP server, click Edit. You can enter an external or internal NTP server, depending on your desired configuration architecture. Once entered, click Test, then Update. Now we will configure the rest of the appliance. Under Setup, click Settings. In the Organization section, you can modify the name of the organization and set a custom logo that users will see during enrollment and log on. Under Organization, click Edit. To change the logo, click Upload from Computer. Select the logo image and then click Update. User enrollment begins with an email sent to users. By default, no SMTP server is configured. To configure how mail is sent, including email one-time passcodes, under SMTP, click Edit. Select Yes for Enabled and then enter the appropriate connection details to your SMTP server. Enter the desired from and reply to address in the email details. When done, click Test, then Update. Next, we will configure the enrollment portal. The enrollment portal is how users enroll their MFA tokens. Under Enrollment Portal, click Edit. Select Yes for Enabled and then pick the authentication methods you wish users to be able to enroll. There are software tokens, passcode grids, and FIDO2 security keys. In this demo, only software tokens will be enabled. The enrollment email itself can also be customized. There is a default subject and body that can be modified. Make sure the portal-URL tag remains within the body so that users have a link to click on and view the enrollment portal. Next, select the HTTP details. This is the URL that users will see and use to access the enrollment portal served by this appliance. Enter a fully qualified domain name or IP address. In this demo, we will use a fully qualified domain name which has a DNS entry specific to this appliance. Later on in the video, an SSL certificate will be configured to match the fully qualified domain name. The port which LoginTC Managed uses to serve the enrollment portal is 443. Use port 443 unless there is a proxy fronting the appliance. Next, select how long you want a link to be valid for after being sent. When users click the link, they can be required to enter a first-factor username and password credential before enrolling their MFA token. You can configure LDAP against an existing Active Directory. In this video, no first factor will be configured. Scroll down, click Test, then Update. Next, we will configure the SSL certificate. Retrieve your certificate in PEM format. The public key can include the root certificate authority and intermediate certificate in a chain. Enter both the public and private key. Click Test, then Update. Once updated, close the tab. The configured certificate is now serving both ports 8443 and 443. Since the URL being used for the enrollment portal is a fully qualified domain name, I'll open the new tab for that fully qualified domain name and include port 8443, which is the management port. Log in once again. Next, under Setup Settings, scroll down to Time Zone. Pick a time zone that makes sense for your organization. All logs will be displayed in this time zone. In this video, the default time zone will be used. Next, scroll down and under FIDO2, click Edit. This is an optional step if you intend to use FIDO2 security keys. The appliance must have a valid SSL certificate configured with a valid, fully qualified domain name. Under Enabled, select Yes. There are two important configurations with respect to FIDO2. The first is origin, and the second is the relying party identifier. For the origin, we recommend putting an entry for port 8443 and 8443 for the fully qualified domain name of the virtual appliance. This will make it possible to enroll FIDO2 tokens from an enrollment portal or directly from the administrative interface by an administrator. In the relying party identifier, simply enter the fully qualified domain name. Click Test, then Update. Next, scroll down. Another optional setting is administrators. Here, you can configure using an LDAP or Active Directory for users to log in as administrators to this appliance beyond simply LoginTC user. Configure the LDAP connection and specify a group for which the user must be a part of in order to be able to log in as an administrator. Next, scroll down to user language. Here you can specify the default language for enrollment emails and enrollment one-time passcodes. Next, scroll down to username normalization. Here you can specify whether to normalize down-level logon names like johndoe@example.com or domain/johndoe to simply John Doe. Depending on how users authenticate and to which systems, it can be convenient to normalize usernames. Next, scroll down to logs. Here you can specify a retention policy for the logs and even configure a syslog server to send all user and administrator logs for central log management. Finally, the license section is where the appliance licenses are managed. To update the license, simply upload it and apply the license. Your LoginTC Managed appliance is ready to be used with any LoginTC connector.